Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to continue working on the LEGO City Downtown Core expansion. First thing I've got to work on is the roads. In order to do that, I've got to extract all of my dark gray tile and brick, also some light gray 2x plate and some light gray 2x2 tile as well, because we're going to be changing up the sidewalks and also changing up the roads. And I hope to add some parking spots as well. It definitely feels pretty good to pull out all the parts before starting a massive project, just so you're not back and forth to the part bins constantly. I also pulled out all of my unused road plates and extracted all of the tile from those. So now I have a bunch of 2x4 tiles and a bunch of 1x4s, which are going to come in pretty handy. I mentioned that I wanted to build parking spaces, and for the most part those require either dark gray panels or dark gray brick. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of that right now. I'll have to order some more, but I do have a bunch of tile, so I hope I can make the tile work. Usually I like to build parking spaces using brick laid on its side, and you can see some of those parking spaces on the sides of our roads right there and right here in front of the diner where Hulk is currently standing. Usually I like to build parking spaces like that, but I might be stuck building some using tile right now just because those are the parts that we have. But yeah, it feels good to have all of this stuff pulled out here. The next thing I need to do is extract all of these road plates from the newly expanded downtown core. These roads do look pretty good. They're just on half base plates, so 16 by 32 studs. Normally I construct my roads on full base plates. We actually extend the road, add the white line using brick, plate, and tile, and then we add 6 studs of sidewalk on either side, and that actually uses up an entire half base plate. I don't really like the size of these ones. I just don't think they're big enough to be two-way roads. So I've decided that we're going to change all of the roads in this area to one-way roads. I mean, ideally, I would like to integrate roads that size in this area. There's just not enough space to do that. So I have to compromise. I want to increase the size of the sidewalk so we can add more details and minifigures. And I also think that one-way roads are just going to give the vehicles a little bit more space. Two-way would just be a little bit too crowded. So here's what my one-way roads are going to look like. I know I would much rather brick build my roads. I just honestly don't have the capacity to do that right now. To order all of those parts would be insane. Maybe I could try doing it in this area, but to order all that brick, I just can't do it right now. I can't justify it. So I'm going to be using the road plates for now, but maybe one day this one-way road here will be brick built just like the parking stall in front of the diner. That would be super neat, and I can't say that I'm ever going to do that for my entire LEGO City. That would be a bit nuts. But I've reduced the size of the road by 4 studs. So now the road is 12 studs, and then we have 2 studs of additional sidewalk on either side. So modular buildings like the boutique hotel will actually have 2 more studs of sidewalk. So now we can afford to put like a planter or something here. It's not going to obstruct the walkway. Whereas if I put a planter over here, like similar to the ones that we have in the LEGO City like that, which is 4 studs wide, there's just not enough space to walk by that. So it'd be nice to be able to add that detail. I will have to switch up the tiling here on the boutique hotel. It looks sort of strange. The dark gray 1x will have to go just to match it with the sidewalk, and also have to fix this as well. Obviously we're just testing it out right now. So I'm just going to convert all of them into this new one-way style. So before I do that, I have to decide where I'm going to put my additional parking, because I actually have 6 additional studs right here. This is really weird. It's 6 by 48. So I could actually convert this into parking just out front of the Studgate train station. That makes sense. Also, we have another train station right here, and I'm thinking maybe I can put some more parking right here because we have 16 studs of space right there. So maybe it makes sense to have some parking there and some parking there, which is right by the amusement park and also across the street from the boutique hotel. Before we continue with the LEGO City update, just wanted to let you know that I will be hosting another auction on Whatnot. It takes place on Thursday, the 27th at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and I'll be auctioning off a bunch of cool minifigures. Included in that are these ones here. They celebrate peace and love. They're exclusive to Whatnot, and they only made 100 of these. They have custom printed details. In addition to these figures and a bunch of other figures, I'll also be auctioning off some cool sets as well. If you want to check it out, all the details of that event are in the description of this video, along with my Whatnot affiliate invite link. And when you use that invite link, you get a $15 credit that can be redeemed on Whatnot, and redeeming that credit helps the channel. All right, let's continue with the LEGO City update. I just fixed up this intersection here by rounding out these curbs. I did that using some of these modified plates. In addition to making these changes to the roads, I hope to fix my LEGO City tables today as well. So we originally constructed these tables, that's Stings Bricks and I, and they were pretty cool. There's like a wing here, right? And a wing there by Pop Culture Street, another wing over there by Town Hall, and then one on the very far end with the campground. And then I started running out of space, so I decided to fill in these wings. You can actually see the piece of melamine right here. This is the filler, and I just bridged the two tables. We have table number 1, table number 2 with 2x6s. The problem is these 2x6s weren't beautifully cut by Stings Bricks. He actually smoothed off the edge of them, so they're not perfect. And I've got weird things going on, like Lego wedges inside. So because they're not even, we get the teetering effect on the table joints, specifically right here. It looks level, but it's actually maybe 1/8 of an inch higher. So I've got to go through and try and fix this problem, because when I put a modular building there, specifically the massive double plate boutique hotel, it actually teeters in spot, which is not good at all. It's very strange though, because it happens in some places and then it doesn't happen in other places. So I've definitely got to try and fix that. But first, let's continue constructing these roads. Now all the one-way roads are fixed up and looking pretty good. I've got all the curbs rounded on the corners there. And also on the corner here, I used some wedge plates just to give it a little bit of shape. And then over there in front of the train station, I left a couple of spots open, which will probably be like a pull-in parking area. And you can see how the 6 wide vehicles fit pretty nicely on these roads now. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this. I used the 2x4 wedge plates. Maybe I should just use the 2x2s like I did on the corners. But now vehicles are going to be able to pull off the road into the parking stalls along there and also along here. I think before I start creating those parking stalls, I've got to fix up my tables. I'm not going to turn this into a construction vlog, but I will show you the before and after. So right now, that piece of melamine that fills the hole is supported by 3 2x6s. I think I'm still going to use the 2x6s, but I might also use some of this hardware here as well. We've got some of the corner brackets and also these fasteners, which should, in theory, support the tables as well if I screw this stuff into the melamine and this into the actual 2x6s. So I'm hoping that a combination of those 3 things are going to help fix this issue. I guess I am going to get a little bit construction-y here. Why not? I put the first 2 metal fasteners in there and I discovered my problem immediately. Check out this 2x6. It is not straight at all. Like, it is completely warped, and that's why it's level in some spots and not level in other spots, like the connecting joints of the tabletops. So that's sort of unfortunate. I always use like perfectly straight wood, I guess. Who would have thought that building one-way roads for the downtown area would involve woodwork? I definitely did not think I would be doing this today, but I removed that warped 2x6 and I turned the other 2x6s on their side, which is hugely positive because now there's more clearance for when I crawl under here. One time I hit my back on a 2x6 and I have a permanent scar from that, so I hope that'll never happen again. So I turned the 2x6s on their side, and I also used some of those metal fasteners. Put one there just because it was holding the tables in spot while I was replacing the 2x6s. I'll probably put those in the center maybe, although it looks perfect there, doesn't it? From the underside, it's perfect. Right here, it's off a little bit, you see? So I'll have to put maybe those fasteners here to level this up a bit. But this side looks perfect. I think it's just because our wood is a little bit warped, and once again, it doesn't have that clean edge. The ultimate solution would be to remove this altogether, run those 2x6s through a table saw, and then with that removed, it'll expose the frame, screw them into the frame, and then put it down. That would be the ultimate solution, but I don't have a table saw, so I'd have to borrow it from Stings Bricks. Maybe one day I'll do that. And yeah, that would be the ultimate solution. It's not too bad though. Right now, if I put a few more of those metal fasteners in, it should 100% remove the teeter, but you can see it is way better than it was when we started this video. So now the big question is do I fix the other table inserts? There's one right here, and one over there by the construction site. This one definitely needs to be fixed. You can see a gap right there, and this plate teeters a lot. I should probably wait though and just do it with the table saw and do it right. But maybe I can just put one of those steel fasteners in there and try to fix that area. You can definitely see the difference. That is a little bit dangerous. This is actually the 2x6 in the center. That's the one that got me in the back. But you can see the difference between that and this. Definitely a lot safer to crawl under. Wow, I should make these changes today. But I sort of want to focus on these roads. The first thing I did was modify that weird 6x48 plate in front of the stud gate train station. So it's 6 studs wide. I decided to go 2 studs sidewalk and 2 studs road. That way vehicles on the one-way road can pull in and park, maybe drop some people off. Now, like I mentioned, I would much prefer to build these with brick. But unfortunately, I don't have the brick, and I don't really want to order brick right now because I have a bunch of tile. And I actually think the tile matches quite nicely. What I could do also is add some lines. The issue is the lines would have to be 1 stud wide, because you can't do the nice thin lines like you can when you're building with brick, like these white ones and these yellow ones. So for now, I've decided not to add that line, just because when I think you add this big 1 stud line, it doesn't look very good. We can actually see that in my Quickie Mart parking lot. You see what I mean? They're just really thick. They're not as discreet as those plate lines. It just looks so much better when it's brick built. I will say that one day, I don't know how long it's going to take and when it's going to happen, my entire city will be brick built roads. But for now, I'm using the plates just because they're easy and they're more affordable. They're quicker to put together, and I've just decided to do that, so I'm not really going to change a year later after, investing in all of these road plates. But these would look way better because you can create custom custom crosswalks and stop lines and everything like that. But I'm not prepared to do that yet. Now I'm focusing on the 2 half plates in front of the train station there. I've actually decided to combine them together, and I'm currently working on my tiling pattern, but the same thing. It's got 4 studs of pull-in space there, and then a bunch of sidewalk, and also this is going to be a nice bus station as well. What a day, hey? Video camera, Lego parts, razor blade, power tools, and of course, coffee. Decided to go with a pretty nice pattern using 2x2 light gray, 1x2 dark gray, and then the 1x1 sand blue tiles, which I found on the pad wall. I love those tiles. They just look so nice. Such a good pad wall pickup. You know what I just spotted in my light gray tile drawer? This right here. That would be perfect for those pull-in spots. Maybe I'll have to order some of those. But there we go. That's that pull-in place. That's pretty awesome. Now we can have a bus pull up, pick people up, drop people off at the train stations, amusement park, or hotel. One thing this area needs is vehicles, of course, and all sorts of signage. One-way street signs, parking signs, stuff like that. Also, there's a whole bunch of studs that are still open everywhere, and a whole bunch of train track that's not barricaded off. So we've still got a lot of work to do in this new area of the downtown. I've decided the next thing I'm going to work on is actually a masonry wall, and it's going to have a slight angle to it. So I've got some connector bricks here as well, and that's actually going to go right here, just protecting the civilians from the open train track. I love these 1x4 masonry bricks. I need more of them in all colors. Oh, I also need some 1x2s, but it is what it is. It's got the hinge there, also some viewing windows so you can actually see the Disney train. It'll be positioned like that there. What I'll do is put some tiles underneath the angled portion of the wall, and then I'll put a plate underneath the straight portion and actually tack that down to the studs. Although it's basic, I think it gets the job done and actually looks pretty good. It matches the colors of the Studgate train station and also matches the masonry 1x4 pillars in this train station as well. It pretty much lines up perfectly with this pillar here. This can still move as it's not tacked down. That doesn't really matter because this whole portion of the wall, once again, is tacked down. I think that is pretty awesome, and I like the windows because you can see, like this guy here, can see the Disney train, right? Beauty. There's a bunch more walls like that I need to create. For example, the amusement park right now is wide open. Anybody can just stroll right in there. And anybody that's in the amusement park can just stroll right onto the train track. So that all needs to be covered up for sure. Like blockaded. There needs to be some sort of fence going around the entire train line. And that's the same with the ground line here in the Lego City. This is just wide open. I guess lots of cities you can walk on train tracks, right? I remember doing that as a kid, walking on the train track. So it's not really uncommon. But it still would be nice to add some detail to this grass here because it's just green plate right now. So I need to add some trees and bushes and little leaf elements all over this grass. So I'm going to be doing that soon. And you know what? I was thinking about the wall by the Bricksie land entrance there. And then I remembered that Jose, my wife, Mrs. Bricksie, she made a beautiful wall that was integrated into the amusement park when it actually looked good. And I actually did not take that wall apart. Here it is. It uses snot bricks with the ingot elements and all sorts of different colors there. Dark gray, light gray, nougat, black, every color, every neutral color. And I've got a few different sections of it here. So I could try and retailer this wall and put that on either side of the Bricksie land entrance because it's sort of OG or original, right? It would be neat to integrate because it's a blast from the past. I gotta say, everybody, I'm having a lot of fun just working on the Lego City lately, tackling miscellaneous projects like the train station, or integrating the construction site, or the vintage diner, or the Studgate train station, or working on the raised train line, building these rolling green hills and mountains, and integrating the observatory, working on the zoo, working on the amusement park, the new downtown area. I'm having a lot of fun doing this pretty much every day. I am struggling with keeping up with reviews and things like that in regards to all of the Lego Ambassador Network stuff, the stuff that they send me early for review. I'm struggling to keep on top of that just because I'm having way more fun working on my Lego City than building standard Lego sets and reviewing them. I honestly don't like filming reviews at all. I much prefer filming vlogs and Lego City stuff, and I'm having a really hard time focusing on that other stuff right now because this is just such a blast. Just a side note from me right now. Yeah, just a little bit of thought process that I'm having right now. It's like I would just rather do this all the time. This is awesome. As I continue to work on this area here, I realized that I need to get my boutique hotel figured out and built because looking at the side of the Lego store and Assembly Square is just taking this whole area and making it look like not very good at all. I could use a different word, but it just takes this area and ruins it, if you ask me. So I really should focus on that. There we go. Now it doesn't look as bad. I've decided it's time to spiffy up the Bricksie land entrance, so I retailored these walls here so they fit now. They're only 5 studs tall, and I put the ingots on the outside. And I did that the same on this side as well. And then I also changed the queue lines because I was just using these, and they're sort of tacky, sort of temporary, didn't really match the theme that I wanted to move forward with in the amusement park. So I used these pieces. Just one of those masonry bricks, and then those curved slopes and some 1x2s, and then some ingots on top. And I just think that looks a little bit more permanent and less tacky. Now I've got the entrance fully tiled off. I decided to cover it with jumpers. So when the amusement park is open for business, we can have a huge lineup of people out front. And this guy right here already has ice cream, but he's highly upset about it. Now, in order to get all of these jumpers, I had to strip them from the boutique hotel. For some reason, there was like 15 of them outside of the boutique hotel. And while I stripped them off, I decided to remove that dark gray line from the exterior tile and switch it all to 2x2 tile. So now when we place that in the Lego City, it's going to be consistent. I'm super excited about the Bricksie land entrance though. I love the queue, the tiling, and like these things here, like the railings, and also the old school wall, a blast from the past. Pretty neat. The amusement park entrance looks pretty sweet when it's placed. I've still got to figure out what I'm going to do with the plate beside it there, and also these 2 half base plates. This one here, and this one here. Also, when you come into the amusement park, you got to cross a train track, so I need to modify this ballast train track and also put a railroad crossing there so people know when it's safe to enter the amusement park. Should be fairly easy to convert this into a railroad crossing though. I've got a whole bunch of slopes and those pieces that will just allow people to walk right over, and then we'll just fill this in with tile and another plate, and that should make a nice crossing. I also have another half base plate right there and another base plate right there. We've got to decide what we're going to do with those. And I've got to decide whether or not I'm going to finally finish my hospital. It's been built without an interior for so long. I should probably add some interior details to that one day. At this point in my day, I can hear my kids getting restless upstairs, so I know it's time for me to wrap up this vlog. That's usually a pretty good indicator, but I feel like I've got lots of stuff done today. We're going to be working on the boutique hotel soon. It looks a lot better without those dark gray tiles. This area with the bus stop looks pretty awesome. I put some vehicles on the one-way road. Got a limousine pulled up to the Studgate train station there. That amusement park entrance looks pretty amazing now. And I just love all the tile work and the expansion of the sidewalk and the change to the one-way road. Still lots of details that need to be added, such as minifigures, signage, and then also I need to figure out what to do with all of these open areas. I love that wall too. That's awesome. And then, yeah, we're one step closer to finishing this area of the Lego City. That means we're one step closer to transitioning onto the thing that's right next to this part of the Lego City, which is the amusement park. Just slowly but surely, working on the city. I had a lot of fun today. It was great. So yeah, I hope you had a lot of fun too checking out this vlog, and thank you so much for coming on by. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, and have yourselves a great one. Farewell.